Okay, good morning, my people. I'm back again. Yesterday was pretty awful. I cried my eyeballs out. It was crazy. I was so much into my emotion. So much into my emotions, and I just had to let it out. But today, I'm gonna continue with part three of my I didn't know I would be okay. So hopefully there will be no tears today. But I can't promise you anything. So let's just keep our finger crossed and see how it goes. All right? But I can't promise you anything. I am about to head to church and I have about an hour left to get to church. So I'm all ready, as you can see. I'm going African style today. So my morning routine is just normal now since I have, most of you don't know, I do have diabetes. I've been having diabetes for like 4 years now. And my morning routine is find something, eat, take medication before I can go to work or church or leave my house every day. So my Tikita is on the stove and I'm going to make me some warm water. I like to drink every morning. I drink or hot water with cocoa or hot chocolate or something just for me to be able to take my medication. I have to watch what I eat, how much I eat. It's just crazy. My life is crazy, but I love it because you know what? I am here. I am still here. So let's start. I want to continue with my pregnancy story because I kind of went all around the place yesterday because I was so much into my emotions. And so let's start off. Um, yeah, my pregnancy was during the 1996 war. For those of you who are Liberians or who follow Liberia war, who visited Liberia, you'll know what I'm talking about. So the 1996 war, one of those, I think it was like the third war in the country, third or fourth war. I think it was the third war in the country, and it was hell. Um, Actually, it will help for the whole country, especially for women and children, older folks. It wasn't an easy thing. And I was pregnant. I was pregnant. So one morning we were sleeping and my husband and I we heard gun firing all over the place. And when we came out, it was crazy. It was bloody. It was not good. And so everybody was running for safety, trying to run somewhere, hide somewhere, get away from all that. They were killing people, cutting all their heads, cutting all their arms. It was not a good scene. And with my condition, my husband had to get me out of there real quick. And so, the war, it does start from certain place, and then it spreads out. So there were other places within Morovia that did not have this issue. Because we were on, I think that time we were living on, I think 19th Street, on the beach, towards the beach way. And that's where the problem started from. Start hearing firing and people screaming and running. Can you imagine group of people just decide to go and kill people, innocent people? And we started to run. My husband had no other option but to take me to my auntie. My auntie is in she's one of my God sent angel. She's in Rhode Island right now. She's still alive. I pray that she lives long so one of these days I can just spoil her. But she was the only person that my husband could think about because she was on the other side of the war, that there wasn't much going on there. And so like across, we call it across Banove. But my husband, my auntie was in Battery Factory from the Freeport way. I don't even know that place. I've been under there so long. So that's where my husband decided to take me, and we were in Sinker, 24th Street. Okay, it's just like leaving from it's about, I think, about 30 minutes drive where my auntie was. And so my husband decided to get me away from there. So what he did was, this is during my early stages, one of the early stages of my pregnancy. And I was so sick at the same time, not eating, no good food to eat, no food actually to eat that would be good for me, to nourish me. I was so tiny, skinny. I was like 68 pounds and I was pregnant. And so my husband decided to take me to my auntie. We rushed on the road, on the main road. By the grace of God, there were cars running. And my husband put me in a car. He took me to down a place where we call Broad Street. It's like the city, the big part of the city. So he took me downtown and to where we have more cars going across. Hopefully the war wasn't in that area yet. So put me in the car and told me, you go and I will stay, I will come later on. So that's where my husband and we separated. I promise I'm not going to cry. All right, I am not going to cry today. So my husband left me and took me, and I got in our car with, it's only a 4 passenger per back, for the back of the car and 1 in front. So it's a 5 passenger for a taxi. And the driver makes everybody 6 in the car. Yeah. So can you imagine, we were sitting on top of each other. So we were like 8 in the car. And since I was pregnant, one of the passenger allowed me to sit on her lap. When we got to Battery Factory, it was like there was no war going on. Nothing was happening. The place was so quiet. And I was like, oh, thank God I would be safe here. But oh my God, did I just say that? Or did I just say that I would be safe here? It's underestimated. It's an understatement. All right. So I walked from a road and went to my auntie. My auntie didn't know what coming. There was no such thing of phone to call, say, oh, I'm coming. I show up. My auntie was happy to see me. She took me in her arms. I was pale, helpless, hungry, tired, weak, low blood. I had no blood. Can you imagine, you have pregnancy going on, gestational diabetes, then no blood. So I was really pale. I was very, very sick. And so my auntie, she took me in. She's a nurse, she's a midwife, and she know all about pregnant women and stuff. So God sent me there to her for a reason. And when I got there, I was like almost out of it. And so my auntie took me and started to treat me right away and giving me some Fatima for me to be able to get strength, energy, be able to eat. Because even if the food were there, I didn't have the appetite to eat. So my auntie took me in, and oh boy, the next day, we woke up in the middle of the night. I think around 6 a.m. in the morning, with bullets, rockets falling. 96 wars were one of the worst wars. It was like just like the octopus. We got another war that came before the 96 war. We call it octopus. That's because rockets were flying from in the heavens, raining down on poor innocent people. And so, oh, my hot water is ready. Let me go and get some. And so my auntie woke me up. We had to run for life. We had to run to survive. She woke me up and she said, the rebels are coming. We got to get out of here. We ran out of that house with nothing, just our bare feet, empty hands, because we didn't have the time to take anything with us. And oh my gosh, I was so sick. When my auntie took me, we walked about it was about 3 hours walk. So from 6 a.m. in the morning to 9 a.m. in the morning before we reached to a place that was safe. And when we got there, I felt really sick. And I started to have miscarriage. So my auntie thought, at first she just thought, you know what, because we walked this far distance, so maybe just wait and see and you will be okay. And she started to treat me, with some medication. But by the time it was about 12 o'clock in the night, it got worse. And so my auntie had to rush me to a hospital around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. She took me on the road and told me, said, let's just go on the road. And during that time, the rebels were all over the place. The rebels were all over the place. They were killing people, torturing people. Pregnant women was killed, removing a baby from in their tummy and taking the baby heart and eating the baby. That's what they were doing to us pregnant women. So my life and the baby life was also at risk, including my auntie. So we only have faith and believe that, okay, God will take care of us. And before we left, my auntie said to me, let's pray. We will need guidance and protection. And so my auntie and I, we pray. And she took me on the road. I'm telling you, for some reasons, my auntie and I, when we got on that road, there was a car that just came right then. And like a truck. Yeah, it was like a truck. That truck came right then and stopped. And guess what? In that truck, there were all rebels. All rebels in the truck. And my auntie was like, if I don't see you again, we'll see in heaven. And by the grace of God, those rebels were so kind. My auntie told them the king jumped from in the car and just came down with so much rush. You know how rebels behave. And asked my auntie, where are you guys going? And my auntie said, she's pregnant and we're taking her. She's about to have miscarriage. And I'm trying to take her to the hospital so she don't die in my hand. Please, y'all help me. And then right then, I know it was the spirit that touched those guys. One of the guys that were in front, because, the pickup that they were driving is like those Toyota pickup with 2 seats. And then just the car driver and a passenger. And then the rest of the rebels were in the trunk, back of the car. And so they allowed my auntie to sit in the back of the car. And then allowed me to sit in the front of the car. And while they drove us to the hospital. And when we got to the hospital, there were no living person there. It's just me and my auntie. Everybody that was in that hospital was dead. There was blood everywhere. dead body laying down everywhere. And I'm a scared person. I'm telling you, if you don't know me, I am scared. I even afraid of my own shadow. I got afraid. I started crying. I started to go out of it. But things, it wasn't looking good. And I remember when we entered that building, everywhere else was dark, blood running all on the floor. And there was one bed in the middle of all this dead bodies. Just one bed. And there was nobody. And my auntie told me, lie on the bed and I'll be back. I'm going to check around in the hospital to see if there is anyone here or any doctor here that can help us. Before my auntie could even turn away from me, there's this person with flashlight in their hand and said, hi, what y'all doing? What you guys doing here? Don't you guys know that a rebel came here and killed everybody and they wanted to burn this building down? And they said they will be coming back because they said we have rebels, other rebels here, treating them, and we shouldn't be treating rebel. You guys not supposed to be here. They will be coming back anytime. You guys have to leave. I was the only survivor. And I went home. For some reason, when I went home, something kept telling me, go back to the hospital, go back to the hospital. And it looked like it was God that was telling me to come back to the hospital. And so I'm here and you guys are here. I think there's a purpose for us being here. And so this man said, I would treat, because my auntie considered me her daughter. Like I said, in Africa, it's easier to call your auntie, uncles, father, mother, something like that, especially they're taking care of you. And so she said, my daughter is going to die. You have to treat her. Please help me. Just treat her. Give me the medication. The rest of the medication, I will take her home and treat her because I'm a midwife. And so the doctor said, okay. It started to treat me right away. Like God sent another angel in my life that saved my life again. And he treated me and he told my auntie, he said, look, this girl, if you didn't bring her, she had less than 30 minutes to live. And so it's good that you brought her. And I'm grateful that I was able to listen to the Spirit to lead me over here. But you guys can't stay here because the people said that we're keeping rebels in here and they will be coming back. So you have to leave. So after the drip, after he gave me some fluids and some IVs and some medication. The pain went away and I stopped bleeding right away. Right then, it was a miracle. Like, I am a walking miracle, guys. I'm telling you. And so after an hour, it was about around 4 a.m. in the morning. You will not believe what happened. The rebels that left, that came and killed all the people in the hospital because they said that the doctors then were hiding other rebels. Those same rebels, exactly what the doctor said, those same rebels came back. That very moment when I was released, those rebels came back. And as we were getting out of the hospital, they were entering. And the doctor said, oh, you guys have to hide. Those are the same guys. They said they were going to come back to burn the building down. You have to hide. And it was so hard to hide because this is the front door. This is us. And this is the rebel. How can we hide? And my auntie had my hand holding me firmly. She said, God will see us through this. Don't worry, everything will be okay. Like my auntie knew. And so when those rebels came rushing in, as soon as they saw us, in fact, the person that was the head, the commander, he said, everybody stop. And then everybody just stopped. I think they were over 15, 20, or maybe 25 or more. And everybody just stopped. It's like if you drop a pin, you will hear the sound of that pin. That's how quiet it was for like 30 seconds. if I'm not mistaken. And then the rebel leader said, what you guys doing here? You guys know that we killed everybody here and we came back to burn this building down because they were hiding rebels in here. And my auntie said my daughter is very sick. She was about to have miscarriage, and there was no other way, no other place for me to take her. And this is the only place that I had to bring her. And this poor doctor here, God sent him and he treated my daughter. And so I'm taking her back home now. And when my auntie said that, it was like, peace. Peace. Be still. And then the rebel leader took me by my hand, put me in the car, and said, where you guys going? My auntie said we live like 30 minutes away, factory. He said, we'll take you guys home. We'll make sure that you guys are okay and safe. Nothing bad will happen to you. And they drove us. And as we were going, he said, do you have food? My auntie said, we don't even have food. Because where we were, we ran from there with empty hands. And because the rebel came and took over that whole place, so we had to run. And that's why we had to run for like 3 hours running. And that's why my daughter was about to have miscarriage. So we had to run. And now we don't have any food. We don't have anything, no water, no nothing. And she's sick. They gave us a half bag of rice, which is about 50 cups of rice. And then they gave us some water, and they gave other food stuff. And the rebels took us home directly and made sure that we were safe inside. Once again, my son is safe in my tummy. All right? And I had to carry him for another 6 months. I think six or 7 months before I gave birth. And after everything quieted down, now my husband and I were separated. I don't know where my husband is. Hopefully my husband is thinking, okay, I know she's with her auntie. And so I help him, to be able to move on. Because he was so worried. I knew he was. And he tried to come. When we finally met, he had tried to come to me over and over, but he was stopped by the rebel. He even told me that one of the rebel was about maybe 12-year-old boy that shot between his leg. And my husband said he almost peed in his pants. And so he had to turn around and go back. But after everything ceased, I was okay. But the problem was I had gestational diabetes, not knowing. And the baby was overgrown in my tummy. And so it was too much weight on my body. And my stomach was so big with this small, tiny body. And it wasn't an easy fight. And so by the grace of God, my auntie, after the war quieted down, finally my husband was able to come and find me. So where we left our area because the rebel had already taken over that area. So my husband went there. They told him, oh, your family, they are not here. They left. Your wife is not here. And so they directed him to where we were. And my husband came over and took me home. And guess what happened? We went home. After we got home, there was nowhere for us to stay. Everything was burned down. People had taken those ones that wasn't burned. People came and looted, took everything away. We never had anything. Now we're looking for a place to stay. And my mother-in-law, may her soul rest in peace. I promise that I'm not going to cry today. All right. She took us in, and it's a blessing. She was also a midwife. All right. She knew how to take care of a pregnant woman, and she told me, "Don't worry, this baby would be born safely. That was not true. After all I have went through, the baby wasn't going to let me go easy. And so in the middle of the night, I started to, after 6 months, I said, and now this time the war has quieted down, and the ECOWAS, they are all there trying to bring peace back to the country for the third time. And so hospitals were all open and running now. So my mother-in-law and her husband took me to the hospital. This is a big hospital, but it was all ruined by the war. It's called JFK Hospital. It's in Monrovia, Singa. And it was about 15 minutes to 20 minutes walk to go to the hospital. But that 20-minute walk was like an hour walk to me. And I was walking on pins and needles. That's how I felt. And when they took me to the hospital, the nurse saw me. She said, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to make sure you have this baby. You are not going through surgery. It's going to be tough, but you have to be ready. You can do this." After 12 hours of labor, guys, if you've been pregnant and gave birth before, you know what I'm talking about. 12 hours. No putting needle behind your back to release the pain when you give birth like we do here in America. And they did that to me when I was pregnant with my second son here. They gave me that, what is it called? I don't even remember the name. They just gave you that medication in your spine, and it take all the pain away, and you can only push when you feel the baby's coming. That's not how it worked at that time, because there was no such thing. It was wartime. The nurses, they were only trying to save lives. That's all. The best way they knew how to. So I was in labor for 12 hours. And because the baby was so big, he was 11 pounds. And the nurse said, "I don't want to take you to surgery. This is your first baby. I don't want you to go to surgery. Put effort. You can do this." And after 12 hours, from 12 o'clock in the night to 11 o'clock in the morning, I finally gave birth with the help and encouragement of that nurse. Her name was Sarah, and that's my mom's name. This is so crazy. I mean, when you look all around me, guys, can you like see miracle? Can you not see miracle? Right? I am a walking miracle. Yeah. So I gave birth to this handsome looking baby, chubby. And at this time my husband's not there. He always leaves, go look for food, and never come home with empty hands. And that's what he did. That's what he always did. He make sure that I have something to eat. So he was out there looking for food for me and didn't know that I was giving birth in the hospital. And finally, I gave birth to a bouncing, healthy baby boy. He had no health issues, nothing whatsoever. And my baby boy right now, he's 26 years old. And that's the third part to my story, guys. I'm just going to give pieces of broken story, like here and there, as I remember, because it's been a very long time. And you guys can help me put them together. I think it would be fun. Follow me on my YouTube page, and if you like my video, please subscribe and share, and leave comments in the comment section if you have any question or any concern. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you for following me through this journey. I really appreciate it, and I promised I wasn't going to cry, and so I didn't cry. It's because I let it all out yesterday. Now, even though it was a promise, but I'm not too sure for next time, because I'm getting old. my body changes. I cry when I feel like I can't help it. All right. So thanks for watching. Like and share and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. All my Facebook followers, go ahead and subscribe and support your sister. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. I love you guys so much.